Hi everyone, it's Savannah from China Admissions. One of the most common questions we get from students is whether you can work as a student in China and how it works finding a job or internship and even full-time employment in the future. From a student's perspective, I'm going to share the information that you need to know if you're an international student in China. China recently released new policies regarding the situation of part-time work-study for foreign students. So I'm going to review the new work-study policies for international students. I'm going to review internships and the policies about foreign students finding internships in China, and also give you some resources if you want to find a full-time job in China in the future. All right, let's get started. On January 12th, 2022, the Chinese government released a new set of policies for students who want to do work-study, which is part-time work in China. A quick summary: the policy allows international students who are enrolled in higher education institutions to work on campus or off campus for a limited number of hours per week and earn payment for this according to the local minimum wage standards. This part-time work, called work-study, has to be registered within 10 days at the local entry-exit bureau. This policy is only for international students in China, and it's come into effect as of January 2022. So right now it's in effect for all international students in China. But it is a new policy. It does not cover like teaching practice or other social activities organized by the school. It also doesn't cover internships. And this policy is not for anyone who's in China on a non-student visa. So if you're in China on an X1 or X2 student visa and you're currently enrolled at a university in China, this policy is for you. If you already graduated or you dropped out of school, this policy is not for you. In this policy, there are a limited number of hours that students can have part-time work-study jobs. During the school year, you can work no more than 8 hours per week and no more than 40 hours per month. But during the winter or summer breaks, you can work a bit longer since you don't have school. You can work no more than 16 hours per week and no more than 80 hours per month during the summer and winter vacations. The types of work that you would do on campus and off campus, it might be something like teaching assistants, scientific research assistants, administrative management assistants, and school public services. The school has a responsibility to determine that the position that you're applying for as your work study is safe and that it won't interfere in your academic life. If you break Chinese law or if the school notices that your time at the work study is interfering with your academics and your ability to be a student in good standing at the school, they have the right to disqualify you from work study. If you want to read in more detail about this work study program, we have a link in the description that translates and explains the new policy for you. If you're an international student in China who wants to do a work study, this is a great way for you to work with the university to find a way to earn a little extra spending money to supplement any scholarship that you've received. This is an ideal position for students who are in good standing with the university and have a few free hours a week where they would like to earn a little extra money. However, if you want more professional experience and you're not so interested in doing like a minimum wage on-campus job, you might be more interested in finding an internship in China. Internships are very common for foreign students. You might do 1 or 2 internships over the course of your school year in China, and they're a great thing to add on to your resume. Develop professional skills, increase your workplace skills and abilities in the field that you're going into, and also develop cross-cultural communication as you work in a Chinese company with Chinese colleagues. These are all good things, and the good news is that international students are allowed to find internships and take internships in China. However, like the work-study program, you do need to register your internship at the local exit entry bureau. I'll explain all of that in a moment. All right, so what visa do you need in China to have an internship? You'll most likely be on an X visa, either X1 or X2, which is the student visa. If you're doing an internship in a certain high-tech zone, you might also be able to be on an S visa. It is legal to be paid as an intern in China, provided that you meet the following conditions. To be paid a full salary, the company needs to pay the relevant taxes, and you must have an internship visa. This is where you need to register your internship with the local bureau according to the local laws and regulations in order to legally be paid an internship wage. Some internship companies may offer you a salary or an hourly wage, some other ones may not. You might get a stipend, which would be 50 or 100 RMB to cover your daily expenses to and from the internship. Some internships are not paid, but if you want a paid internship, it's up to you to handle the negotiations with the company and sign a contract with the hourly wage or monthly wage that makes you happy. Most students in China have an internship for a period of just a few months. It's really common to do an internship over summer break or for a month or two over the winter break. Most students don't have internships during the school year because you may be required to commute a long distance to your office and work 2 or 3 days in person in the office, which can be a lot if you're taking classes at the same time. Again, if the internship interferes with your classes and your academic standing at the university, it's a better idea to wait until the summer break to take an internship. Another thing is, unlike work study, which is coordinated through your university and requires the school's approval, an internship is something that you can find and apply for on your own. You don't need to go through the school to find an internship. Though your university might have career services that can help recommend companies, or your professors might be able to give you ideas and connections on where to find an internship. When you apply for and successfully receive your internship offer and you've figured out how much you'll be paid with the company, it's time to register your internship at the local entry-exit bureau, just like work study. You have to register your internship in order to get an internship visa, which is when you add a mark to your existing residence permit that you're allowed to complete an internship in China. There are several steps to this process. The first step, you need to contact your university and let them know you want to do an internship. They will provide documentation, which you can submit to your company for approval. You also need to submit this documentation, including your official internship offer, to the local entry-exit bureau for an internship visa. The internship visa is pretty easy to get. It will cost about 400 RMB, and you'll get the internship visa in 5 to 7 business days. It's important to note here that you need to be sure which version of your internship contract is legally binding. In a lot of cases, only the Chinese contract is legally binding. So if you sign a contract with a company in any situation, whether it's for work study, internship, or a full-time job, you need to make sure that you are aware which version of the contract you're going to be legally held to in terms of how many hours you work per week, when you'll get paid, and what are the situations for terminating employment. If you are located outside of China at this time, but you're still a student in a Chinese university, you do not need to worry about letting your university know you're interning. You don't need to register your internship. Obviously, you can't get to the local entry-exit bureau. You can find an internship and part-time work in your own country, wherever you are, according to the local laws in your country. This is just for international students who are in China at the time. Another issue that students really want to know is, can you work full-time when you are a student in China? The answer is no. If you're in China on an X1 or X2, the student X visa, you only have the two options of part-time work study or an internship. You cannot have a full-time job. This is because if you're in China for a full-time job, you'll actually be in the country on a work visa, not a student visa. So it's illegal to have a full-time job and take degree classes at a university at the same time. If you want to find a full-time job in China, you need to wait until you're no longer a student. When you are looking for a job in China, you'll need to apply for it, go through several rounds of interviews, and then you will receive your job offer and your employment contract. If you find a full-time job in China, the work visa will be negotiated with your company. Your company will be the one that has to help you provide the proper documentation in order to get you the visa, either to continue living in China or to enter the country. And of course, because of COVID-19 restrictions, it is difficult for people to get new visas to enter China. Though it is possible, you should anticipate that it takes a long time, at least a few months. Some people have been waiting for a little bit longer than that for their work visa. If you are a student who's about to graduate, you can apply for full-time jobs. You just won't be able to start the full-time job and get your work permit until after you've officially graduated from the university. This is relatively common for people to do. There are a lot of students who apply for full-time jobs in China in their final year of university and then wait a few months until they graduate to formally begin their work. Now, do you need to know Chinese before you work in China, either at an internship, a full-time job, or a work study? The answer is no. You're not required to learn Chinese, but if you want to work in China, it is pretty much expected that you'll be able to speak some basic Chinese. And if you want to have more opportunities, increasing your Chinese ability to at least an HSK 4 or 5 is a great thing to do. This will not only help you fit in more in the workplace and be able to communicate with your Chinese colleagues, but it will also help you in your job search. International job seekers with a really high Chinese level are simply more desirable to Chinese companies and international companies that have operations in China. Because you speak the local language, you'll be able to communicate with Chinese stakeholders and understand the local culture and society better in order to help your workplace succeed. So while you don't need to know Chinese, it can dramatically increase your job searching options and make you a more desirable candidate for work studies, internships, and full-time jobs. Now, another question that we get often is, how can I find an internship or a work study or a full-time job if you have no experience doing this before and you don't really know how these things work in China? For work study, this is coordinated largely through the university, and there are going to be on-campus opportunities for you, such as working as a research assistant or a teaching assistant. So if you want to take a work study, the best option for you is to reach out to either your university's career services department or international services department, a teacher you can contact to ask about these issues. Let them know you're interested in a work study and get the options from them. Because this is a new policy, some universities might be just building up their capacity to have international students as part-time workers. So there might not be like a full list or a full process for you to find and apply for a work study job right away. But they definitely exist in the form of teaching assistants, library workers, and other positions across campus and even off campus. Again, for more information on this specific policy, you should click the link in the bio. If you're looking for internships or full-time jobs, there are a lot of online job boards that are used by Chinese companies to find and recruit foreign workers. For example, LinkedIn, eChina Careers, eChina Cities, Laowai Career, and Smart Shanghai's job board are some great options to get you started. They can help you figure out what companies are hiring in the city or the area you want to work in, and you can submit your application through these sites. In China, Wechat is the largest communications platform, which means that it's also used for job searching. To use Wechat to help you find a job, you can join job board Wechat groups where people share job descriptions and recruitment calls for different companies. If you don't know a Wechat group to join, you can also do a little bit of research, find companies that you're interested in working for, and follow their Wechat accounts. A lot of companies in China will post their job openings on their Wechat account, so you'll know when they're recruiting and you'll be able to apply quickly. Additionally, a lot of Chinese companies, specifically those that operate only in the Chinese language, they might be open to recruiting foreigners, but they don't advertise on international websites like LinkedIn or Laowai Career because they're specifically looking for foreigners with a really high Chinese level. So getting onto Wechat and following the accounts of companies you want to work for is a foolproof way to be the first to know of any job openings. The principle of guanxi in China, which means building relationships, is really important when finding jobs. Getting a recommendation from a classmate, a coworker, or a teacher is really important. It can be the first step in the door for a new company. So if you're starting to look for a work study, internship, or full-time job in China, start talking to your classmates or professors about this. Ask them what companies they hear that may be recruiting in your field. Ask them where they've worked before and if they'd be willing to give you a recommendation. Additionally, if you're in China, get involved in some community groups that meet around your city. There are a lot of different ways to meet people outside of your campus in China. For example, there are a lot of different citywide networking events that are advertised on Smart Shanghai and the Beijinger. You can also attend events at your local embassy or chamber of commerce. You can also join groups across China to network and meet people, such as the Viva Beijing Professional Women's Network, Think in China, Ladies Who Tech, Spittoon Collective, TEDx, Beehive, Startup Grind. There are so many different organizations in China. And talk to your classmates and talk to your professors, get to know what's out there and what the opportunities are for foreigners who are job seeking, and you'll be able to find a position that suits you. Because of COVID-19, there are restrictions on who can get into China, which means that a lot of companies have some unexpected vacancies because they can't bring people outside the country into China because of the restrictions and the COVID protocols. So if you're inside China, actually there are plenty of job openings in the market right now for you. You just need to access your guanxi, access your personal networks in order to find the position that is right for you. All right, I hope this helped explain to you the 3 different options that are available to you if you're a student in China. If you're a currently enrolled student on an X visa with a valid residence permit, you can do a work study or an internship, and if you're about to graduate, you can start applying for full-time jobs in China. Don't forget, if you do a work study or an internship, you do need to register this at the local entry-exit bureau so it's legal, and we have a video about how to register your internship at the entry-exit bureau. Don't worry if it's your first time applying for an internship or a job. We've been in your situation before and you'll definitely be able to find a position for you. You can read more about these topics in the links in the description box. Thanks for watching this video and see you next time.